with the carbs installed, I have a whole mishmash of wires and not a lot of pipes and not a lot of space to work in. So easiest ones are overflows, that's fine. But of course all of the pipes have decided that they're all going in different directions, and I don't have the smallest of hands. So although everything looks like it's lining up, everything's not quite where it needs to be. Pipes. So here's one. I'm gonna make sure that they get there. Well, I can get into position. This one here. Oh God. What's annoying is you really don't have any space to work in, and you're pretty much working with touch, which is not cool. So getting these oil lines back into position is not easy. This one here is under a bit of tension. Don't even know why, and I don't have enough fingers to kind of figure it out, but it just keeps flipping away and tension elsewhere. So what I'm trying to do with my other hand is try and manipulate the actual pipe. I think that's just, no, it's too far out, isn't it? It feels better. I'll have to have a little go later on. And then this one looks like a complete nightmare. Look at that. So I'm going to have to literally, for no reason whatsoever, I'm going to have to undo a fixing that didn't need undoing. In order to adjust it. I really didn't want to, if I could avoid cracking them off, I wanted to avoid it. And here I am cracking them off. There's hardly any room in here. So I'm having to crack them off from within the actual chassis itself because there's just so little room. Yeah, that is loose. In order to be able to attach this one. It's crazy, crazy. What a system. And after all of this faffery, I still don't know if the bike runs. And if anything goes wrong, or the carbs leak or anything, I have to reassemble. All right. So hoping to give you a better idea of what I see. Shoot. And it all looks like everything's fine, but it's not fine. It's a real pain. We're in it to win it, right? I literally have so little perch for the ratchet inside of this chassis. So I've just gone onto a quarter drive to give me a little bit more space, and we'll get these oil heating lines nipped up. Okay, I'm just going to give them a little nip. And let's hope they don't ever leak, ever, ever, ever. So yes, engine oil passes through these lines into the bowls of the carbs to warm the petrol to avoid carb freezing. Right. This side. Just going to connect some breather hoses now. I might want to route the fuel hose back to where it came from. This one has a filter on it for some reason. And nice and easy to install. And what I've done is I've just put it, you can see that this pipe was nice and shiny. I've just put it up to the witness marks where it used to live. So I've got the breathers installed into this box, and now we're going to do the choke. Just loosen off the locking clamp. There it goes. Just going to operate the choke. Yeah. Okay, cool. All I'm doing is pulling the outer sheath back a little so it's slightly taut. You've got to be careful with these old bikes because you can over tighten stuff and it just strips it. But that's taut, but it's not pulling. And then if I operate the choke from the handlebars, we've got full scope, and you can see here where it's opening and closing perfectly. So I'm happy with that. So I'm just going through my pre-flight checks, making sure that the electrics are all hanging out of the way. Down here I've got a breather hose which connects to here. And then I've got this plastic rubber mount, which holds this, I believe it might be a starter solenoid, don't know. So I'm just going to use some rubber lube to make sure that we have easy insertion. Time to reinstall the airbox. I was missing one of these, so I have now located it. Still on my gloves, so I'll just use that to attach a breather hose that comes, I think it comes off the crank somewhere, into the airbox. And I want to really make sure that it's a good fit. There we go, lovely fit. I wouldn't want any oil passing up here and dripping down onto the engine. Okay, so what I'm concentrating on now is just making sure that these mouths beautifully go over the carbs and that I'm not trapping any of the wiring. So that's something I'm just checking now. Just tightening up the near side now. Time to screw on the battery box. Time to install the coil packs back where they belong. All I'm doing is just making sure the wiring is as tidy as possible and that everything's connected into the right places. So this is the screw for the battery box. I'm just going to insert it. I'm just going to put the screw in. There's a long and a short. The short one's for the offside of the bike because there's a solenoid below it. And the reason this one is long is because the negative terminal for the battery connects to the bike. It goes under this thread here. Then whatever that is connects to it, and I found it a brand new lock nut, and then if I can get in there, luckily I'm using a blue point. Got lots of little teeth on it, so I picked up a battery from Tanya Batteries in Wales. Just going to drop it in nicely. Just going to check that everything reaches it. One of its battery jobs, two of its battery jobs that will hold it in place. My nemesis is these little nuts and never having batteries that have long enough bolts on them. And what's really nice with Tanya is they've given me nice long bolts so I can connect the battery. Let me just put a washer on it. And you won't see much faffing with me, because once I line everything up and start rotating it, I'll come over and do the other side. I'll just show you on the negative side. So here's the nut going in. And then I'm going to pass down, well, I'm going to get the negative terminal. This is great, electrons. It's been 10 years. I'm going to pass it down. And just as I tighten it up, I know you won't be able to see much from this angle, I'm not having to fight. They've given us longer bolts that just connect to the nuts. Well, it's been 10 years, we've got a battery. Let's put the ignition on and turn it, see what we get. All right, we've got 2 warning lights in the neutral. I can't wait no more. I just have to hit this starter and see if we get anything. We probably won't because there isn't any fuel in the carbs, but let's have a go. Nothing! I don't know what I've done to displease it, but it's not going. Yay!